Hello,
I thought this was a
it's your
food
host,
channel.
Justin Branson, and this guy doesn't know when to stop talking. He'll introduce himself in just a second, but I wanted to do my thing first. And excuse me, sir, who's so important. Introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself. Major,
Just my
interesting
major?
fact. Go ahead.
No, okay, I just want It's a long pause there. Hi, my name is Peyton Tavernier. I'm a sophomore video production major, and I write and direct. That's interesting, I think. I don't know.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
My name's Evan Lacey. I'm a computer science major, history minor, and I want to know how to properly form a phalanx.
Hi, I'm Max Van Dongen. I'm a freshman, and I am a criminal justice major and
You're a
an
criminal?
aqua minor.
Wow.
You're a
An
criminal?
aqua minor, what does that consist of?
Scuba diving.
Just a lot of
Lot
scuba
of it.
diving?
What
All
classes
right.
do you have to take for that?
Water 101.
Water 101. This is water. How to wet.
I lied.
Is water wet?
Is water wet?
Tune in next week.
And I'm Justin Branson. Well, today we're going to be going into something that, well, quite frankly, shouldn't be delved into. Prequels. Which film series deserves a prequel? Now, if you're all ready,
Or doesn't deserve a prequel?
I'd like to enter the 1-minute introduction, starting with Max.
Man.
What's my argument? I don't know. I'm going to try and go with the best I got here. See, for some reason, Mission Impossible came to mind. Now, we would love to replace Tom Cruise. What would be the best way to do it? I'd say going back in retro and having a younger actor play Tom Cruise so you have the same character of Ethan Hunt. Being retro is super popular right now. You could do the pass the torch to some person like Star Wars has done and Indiana Jones is going to do. I just think that's getting a little cliche. I think I would like to see more about Ethan Hunt because he's such a likable character. And Mission Impossible is at the peak right now with Fallout, which was one of the best action movies made recently. And I would just love to see more of that character. That's all I got.
I feel
That's
good
it.
About this.
That's it.
All right, Ethan.
Eat.
Evan. I can read. My handwriting is horrendous. Evan.
Thank you. In the modern day, we often like to think about the past and also just alternate history or any other kind of way of dystopian future that we can possibly imagine. And one of the best film series that I've seen was adapted from the young adult novel The Hunger Games. So the Hunger Games movies set a wonderful example for a dystopian future in which the United States have fractured into 13 districts, and it sets the stage for a compelling narrative about how in the past of that event, you can see how all the lines were drawn, how everything fractured, and how all the districts got their roles, how they all started working, and how the Hunger Games were created.
Thank you. Moving on.
I have chosen John Wick because of what a prequel should be, and that is pushing the story we have in front of us. And with John Wick, we have this great atmosphere of what was he like before he became this legend, this boogeyman. What was the Continental like? What is this whole area of assassins and this culture we've built around where it seems like everyone's an assassin? Those are stories I want to know about. I want to just know about everything about the Continental because John Wick's such a great movie for the character development, but it's also great because of the setting we've established and everything that the rules basically they have in this crime that shouldn't have rules basically.
Wonderfully put. Or you can tell he writes and directs.
I try.
No,
Really?
you can't.
Yeah, I try.
Well, moving
Well,
on to the forum, where I let these people go at each other like criminals in John Wick.
Pretty much.
Have at it.
So, you know there's John Wick 3 coming out, right? And
Yes.
they're going to explore how John Wick goes into, like, exile, how he's basically
Sure.
burned out of the service.
Sure, you can't get that all in the movie. In John Wick 3, they're
Well,
going to
no,
also
no.
go into how he takes down this whole system.
See, I don't
wanna
think
know
John
how
Wick
the
3 is going to
system
talk about
came
how
up.
he's taking it down. I think it's going to talk about how he's going to survive and how the system
Are we
is
talking
expansive.
about a movie that's coming out later, or are we talking about prequels? Because I'm talking about prequels where I want
I'm
to know
talking
where
about
he
something
got
that will
there.
already probably be satisfied.
Okay, sure.
So
But it's
then why
still
do you
a
want to go
prequel.
further into something that you don't really need?
And
do
we
need
know
this.
like the basics of his wife died, and we
I don't
get
care
a
about
little
that.
indication of his
That's
past.
how he got out of the system. I want to know how he got in the system. How did he become this boogeyman that everyone's
Same here with
scared
Ethan
to
Hunt,
death?
baby.
I want to see the scene where he stabs people with a pencil in a bar, and everyone
And we've
shits their
seen
pants
that.
when
Pretty
they see
sure
him.
that's called the Joker in The Dark Knight.
Oh, it's true.
I mean,
Better. I think better.
sure. Put it
Okay,
in
I don't think
prequel.
anyone can
I-
hold a candle up to The Dark Knight.
Okay,
but
my problem with
that's
the
not what we're
Hunger
debating.
Games is those movies suck.
Yeah, I
But
don't
however,
care
I
about
would
the
like to
Hunger
see
Games.
how they got into that environment. So I
That's-
understand that part, but I just think those
Okay,
movies
so
are
I'm
so weak that I'm
just
not
debating
sure.
against Hunger Games here, I guess.
I'm not
so we're not
debating.
even going
Well,
to
let
talk
me
about
finish first.
Mission Impossible.
Go for it.
Yeah, I just think those movies are so weak though. That sounds interesting. That I'm not sure if it'll come together wholly. You know what I mean?
See, and I agree with where you're going from that because the Hunger Game movies themselves, they were piss poor adaptations of the book, which the book
There you go.
itself,
That's the debate.
the debate is over prequels. And the books themselves gave us information,
That's
but they
the
didn't give us
important
enough
stuff.
information.
I want the points, the big points people talk
That's where I'm
about.
getting to. If you
Okay,
like,
then
if you like
we're
the
out of
big
another
points-
war movie then.
No.
We're seeing
To
how
me,
these
John-
districts came
No,
together
no.
and how there's this giant war that made America how it
we're
is
seeing
now.
the people's story. We're seeing how all the people fractured after some nuclear event or
But
some
that's not the
post-apocalyptic
point of the
event.
story. The story is, what does the audience find intriguing? What do they want to watch?
They're
They
gonna
don't
find
care.
it intriguing.
We want to
if
get to
find
the
out
Hunger
how
Games because
everyone
that's
came to
what's
be and
good
how
about that
the stories
story.
of the individual people, how the stories of President Snow started talking about, hey, we're going to start
cares?
doing these.
We saw the prime of his legacy of, okay, this is what he does in his life. This is
But
the
wouldn't you like
significant
to know
point of his
how it was
life.
created? Like,
No.
what all the thoughts that went into it?
I don't care.
Because I think everyone would love to learn how the Hunger Games were created. And not just like you read it and it gives a couple line sentence that says,
That's
well,
enough for
this
me.
was the best decision that could punish all the districts.
Cool, that's all I need to know. The
Wait, that's
best
not all
line,
you need to
here's
know.
the story about the best that we have in this story. That's all I need to know.
With
Period.
a John Wick prequel, I think you would just be getting the exact same. You could say, let me finish. You could say that Mission Impossible
Jump
is
over.
America's James Bond. You know what I mean? Keanu Reeves owns John Wick. You know, you have so many different James Bonds. I think this could be a good way of, adapting that kind of style where you get sort of a new person playing sort of the same name under the same name and keeping it going. With
Well-
John Wick, you just see action, just more action, but in the past.
Going
you
with
know.
your James Bond point, James Bond is like a title that's inherited by all the different
Sure.
people. So they're in the same continuity and everything. John Wick might also be kind of the same thing. The boogeyman title that John Wick
Yes,
has
I want
might
to
be
see
same
where
thing.
the stories came from. Everyone's so
But
scared
that's
of John
what
Wick,
makes him the
but
boogeyman.
we don't see that.
You don't want to the people
Yes,
want to
I
know that
do.
he's mysterious. They don't want to see why he's mysterious.
Mystery
They
is
know
see
that.
better.
why he's so good.
Mystery is better.
Mystery's way better.
Then that can
for
be
this.
in all of our points. And where did Ethan Hunt get his training and crap? I don't care.
See,
but
and
okay,
his
that's
now
solved.
let's
not
see
as
it.
That's
mysterious
solved
as
in
John
the TV
Wick's.
show. The TV show lists how all their people of Mission Impossible, the Impossible Mission Force.
So there's
it lists
already
how all
there.
they get everything. Not exactly. He's talking about a prequel for Mission
I haven't even
Impossible
got the
with
pitch
Ethan
for this
Hunt.
prequel or what it's going to be about. It's just
He
prequel
just
to Ethan
said
Hunt.
it. It's going to be about Ethan Hunt beginning his
I
stuff.
just think Mission
Why do
Impossible
I
should get a
care?
prequel because this would be a
Why
good
do we
way.
care about this?
Because the story, the setting we have around it. We don't even need John Wick in this prequel. We can just have the
We
Continental.
don't
would
want to
anybody wanna
learn
see
this
about
mob
the
boss.
intricacies of an underground criminal enterprise. We want to learn about the
Well, it
intricacies
seems like the whole city
of
is about this
a
crime, so
city
let's learn
or
about
of
these
a country
crimes.
that collapses in on itself. We want to learn about the intricacies of how districts were formed, how they decided
Well, that's
who's
basically
doing
our
what, how
future.
District 12 became the coal district. We want to learn about how District 4, I think it is the fish district.
I mean, when you
don't
pitch
care
John
about
Wick
fish
without
sticks.
John Wick, that just doesn't sound interesting.
That
to me.
sounds
I don't
like
want to watch
it's-
That means we have a setting that's so good we can
That
just
sounds
go
like it's
with
going to
that,
be
with this
so
atmosphere.
lore-heavy
Assassins? That's
that
not
it's
a
going
We
to
don't
be
prequel.
need it.
Assassins.
horrible.
We just have the rules that are established by the Continental.
Yeah, and that's all you need to operate.
You want to see a
Then let's
backstory
learn
to
about
rules?
it.
I'd watch C-SPAN.
Wow, what a way to close our forum
With C-SPAN.
with C-SPAN. And
Bet you
now
didn't think that's where it went.
I know. And now, if you guys would like to wrap up your arguments and tell me why yours is the best, we can start over here.
Oh,
if you'd
I
like.
get to start finally. Okay, John Wick is the best prequel here because of the story we're getting. Either way you look at this, whatever pitch you want to give for this story, you're getting out of this good. You're getting something good out of this. With Mission Impossible, I don't care. We see the highlights of Ethan Hunt's life. That's all I need. With Hunger Games, that is the story of Hunger Games. There's some back stuff. We get it. Now let's get to the good part, and it didn't even turn out good.
The Hunger Games is one of the more interesting dystopian novels that there was written, and the movie adaptations weren't that great, but I want to explore more in depth. I want to see Suzanne Collins, the author of the books, I want to see her more explore the lore. I want to see her more explore how the world was created, how the capital amassed its power, how they decided, hey, you know what, let's just sacrifice a lot of volunteers from papers in a giant ball. I want to see where that came from. I want to see all the decisions that led to that.
I mean, John Wick without John Wick, just to see how the rules came into be, that just sounds so uninteresting and boring to me. I mean, Assassins, that's nothing original. It's just going to be C-SPAN. Hunger Games, those movies are just so weak that, I mean, yeah, the concept is interesting, but you can't guarantee that the prequel will be good. I'm just saying a Mission Impossible prequel will be a great way to transition away from Tom Cruise because the man's getting up there and have the same character, learn more about him, and get a whole new, younger actor in there for more sequels.
I mean, he broke his foot while filming.
Tom Cruise.
And
is the man.
Vaughn, do we have any facts to be checking?
No, we're all good.
Can you
guys-
actually look it up? Which district is District 4?
This
that's,
is important.
That's at my brain right
This is
now.
real important.
Nick says it's fishing.
If Nick says it's fishing, then it's good enough
I
for
was
me.
right.
Well, you've given me a lot to think about, and that's what I'm going to be doing right now. You guys can stare lovingly into each other's eyes or something.
Okay.
I'm glad that both of you
I
picked
mean-
me for that.
That was the only thing to look at. He's staring at you.
Hey, you can stare at me.
Okay.
It'll just be the cliche of
Yeah, so
the
who's
girl's
staring
always
at
looking at
who?
something, the guy's looking at the girl.
Okay, so
Except, you
we'll
know,
do
it's
like
two
a
guys.
triangle here. So I'll stare over here, and then he's just staring at his
I
paper.
thought I did a pretty good job of having nothing. I mean, I
For literally having
Had-
a question mark, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't see that as a
Nothing.
threat at all. And then you both teamed
I
up
had
on Hunger
Army
Games, and I
Dog
was
in
like,
the room
okay,
as my
so
2
we're
and
just gonna
3.
do 2 against 1 here.
Excuse me. Good sirs.
How dare you?
I,
Call me
Oh,
good.
well, that's all you need to know.
Well, let's start with first being the worst, as my sister used to say. First, as in third, the worst. I hate to say John Wick is the worst because they're lovely movies, but it doesn't make a compelling case for a prequel. I feel like we get a lot of the context, and like these gentlemen have said, part of the mystery is what makes it so intriguing and such a satisfying experience, because every time you get a little tidbit, you're like grabbing for it. You don't want an entire movie of that, because I feel like it would detract from the 2 that we have and the 1 that we've got coming. So, with heavy heart, I have to say, John Wick, prequel's not coming, guys.
There's a series though.
Are you talking like TV series? Or
There's a Continental series coming out.
Well, this is
from,
news to me.
Sci-Fi.
For
Fact checker?
number 2, could we actually get that fact
Yeah,
checked real
please.
quick? It's
Mm.
gonna bother me.
I do believe it is coming. I've heard
Yeah.
of it.
I wanna know
we
when.
talked a couple months ago. I don't know when it's coming.
There's a
though.
bit of a lull right now. I'm just gonna talk and look at the
Okay.
camera.
That also reminds me of that
And,
Artemis
I
Fowl
don't know-
movie
I don't
that's
know
coming
about
out from
that.
Disney.
I
That's
was
bullshit.
so excited.
We
about
have news
Artemis
about
Fowl,
possible
but then when I saw
sequels.
the trailer, I'm like, oh.
No.
It's true. My
It's-
sources say it's true.
Thank you.
Cool.
Our sources, we think very highly of our
Our
sources.
source
Deep
is named
throat.
Vaughn.
So-
you know.
For number 2, second, which is technically the best in the nursery rhyme.
First is the worst, second is the
So,
best.
second, I'm going to give to Evan. See, I like where you're going with this, but I also feel that we're kind of oversaturated on Hunger Games right now, and you didn't really I understand the formation of the districts, but that's also things that are left in the background, like with John Wick, that you get to see. I know it's funny. I know it's funny that the man wrote a question mark and he won, but he argued well, and I'm sorry about it. I truly am. I wish I weren't picking him. But here I
I
am.
knew for sure Hunger Games was gonna win. I knew for sure.
He helped me argue my point.
I know. You literally stopped
And
your whole
excuse me, if I
argument.
may. In first place, a question mark won. Mission Impossible. For some
It's an
reason,
impossible mission.
when he won the impossible mission, this
How do you win a mission?
He stopped
though?
his debate and then
ex-
said, "I'm gonna go to Hunger Games and help you out." And I'm like, "Okay,
Yeah.
okay, fine. If you're both gonna go
wanna hear
Hunger
this.
Games,
well, if I may, which I may
I do
because
wanna
it is
hear
my
this.
job and that's why I'm here.
Is it?
It is. That's why I'm here. See, well, I was very apprehensive going in because he only wrote down a question mark, but then he spun this tale of Ethan, which is, by the way, why I said your name wrong. And he made me convinced through the prequels and how we're going, how Mission Impossible can stay alive. And I think that
because someone's getting old."
because someone's getting old.
That's
But
our pitch.
Should it
the
stay
I-
alive?
The idea that it hurts to say it. I'm sorry, you just argued well. And, that's just how the film fights
give
be
it to you.
sometimes. And this has been Cardinal Film Fights. I've been Justin Branson, your host. And if you'd like to follow us on social media at Card Film Fights, or, interact with us there, or, you can like or comment and do things here too on the YouTubes. Yeah, that's about it.